Hey guys, it's Drummond. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell so you know whenever I'm posting my next video. So today's video, I wanted to talk about addictions. And when it comes to addictions, it's not something that I've struggled with personally, but honestly, when it comes to addictions, I know that it's something that runs in my family and it's something that I've had to deal with on several different levels when it's come to friends, relationships, and family members. And it's something that is extremely hard for anybody to deal with. So I wanted to make a video and kind of share with you guys some of my experiences that I've dealt with and maybe open up a platform for you guys to be able to talk together in the comment section, just because I think it's very important for people to realize that when it comes to addiction, it is a disease and it's something that a lot of people struggle with. As horrible as it is for the person that's dealing with it, it can be extremely horrible for the people who are dealing with it on the other side where they're trying to help the other people. I know that for me, growing up, my mom struggled with a lot of different addictions, whether that came to alcohol, smoking, or other different things. I know that when she was with my dad, she was able to afford the medication for anxiety, depression, bipolar, and all that stuff that she was struggling with. And then when she ended up leaving my dad, she kind of started having trouble paying for those types of drugs. And so she started to kind of dive into the street drugs to try to make herself feel better. And that's when her addiction kind of started getting a little bit out of hand. For me, I was actually out of state when that was happening to my mom, and my sisters were dealing with it firsthand. It wasn't until things got a little bit more rough that I kind of got pulled into it, and I actually moved back to Virginia to kind of help my mom through it. And when it comes to other people that have been in my life, I've had friends that at first it kind of seemed like a small thing and it was something that they kind of hid from me, and then you started to kind of see the signs that it was a little bit more of a problem than they had originally let on, and it was something that they really couldn't do on their own when it came to getting out of it or stopping. When it comes to trying to stop, they really do want to stop, and when it comes to the loved ones around them, a lot of times they have their love and support for a little bit and then they kind of start to fall off just because the addiction kind of keeps pushing itself back in. So I definitely believe that when it comes to people who are being there for people who are struggling with addiction, I most definitely want to take my hat off to you guys, because it is extremely hard and sometimes you do want to kind of just run away because it is extremely painful to see someone that you love and care about so much struggle with addiction. So when it comes to dealing with someone who's got an addiction to something, some of them are a little bit more intense than others. I know that when it comes to addiction, it's something that can run in your family. And so for me, seeing my mom struggle with so many different things, I was just like, I don't want to put myself at risk for anything. So for the longest time, alcohol was something that I didn't touch. Never tried smoking, never tried any other drugs, just because I don't ever really want to experience what it's like to be addicted to something and not really be able to stop. I don't know if it's something that you would know automatically if you're the type of person that becomes addicted, but I know that when it comes to alcohol, I will only drink if I'm in an extremely happy mood and I'm doing it because I want to hang out with my friends and have a good time. I've never been the type of person that drinks when I'm upset or tries anything else that's mind altering, because I know that's a possibility that I could become addicted to it, and it's not something that I really want to bring into my life. If you guys have watched any of my other videos, you would have seen that I started reading Nico's book, and they actually were talking about how they struggled with drug addiction and they felt like they were able to overcome different things and then they kind of fell back into the drug addiction. And I feel like that book is definitely a good book for people who kind of want to see into someone's mind that was struggling with drug addiction kind of thinks, because it wasn't like that person wanted to purposely fall back into drugs. They felt like they kind of had it under control, and then someone came into their life and introduced it back into their life, and then they just kind of fell back into it. A lot of times when you're dealing with addictions, you believe that once you've overcome it, you're like some superhero and that you would never fall back into it again. And you're like, you know what, I can have one drink, or I can do one shot of this, or you just feel like one isn't going to set you back down the cliff that you just climbed up. But for people who have addiction problems, that is something that kind of throws them right back into it. So when it comes to people who are dealing with addiction, a lot of times they are surrounded by people who encourage that type of stuff. And when they go into rehab and kind of get over that addiction, they come back out and they're surrounded by the same atmosphere of negative people or negative situations, and they kind of fall right back into it. And for me, growing up with my mom struggling with different things, I loved her so much, and it really hurts. Sometimes she said really hurtful things. I know one year at a Halloween party, my mom got drunk, and my little sister, she was the last one to be born, and my mom kind of grabbed her and she said, "I wish that I had never had you." And it really affected my little sister in a negative way. And I know that once when my dad was taking us away for the summer, because when my parents got divorced, I dealt with having to live back and forth. And my mom actually packed up all of her stuff in bags and put them on the side of the road and accused me and my sisters of stealing money from her and giving it to her dad, which of course we would have never done. But my mom was just in a place where that's where her mind was, and it was nothing that I could really do. And she actually grabbed my arm and she looked me right in the eye and said, "I never loved you." And at that point, I was very young, so it hurt to hear someone that I love so much tell me that. And I mean, in certain relationships that I dealt with where my boyfriends drank way too much, they said really hurtful things when I was trying to be helpful to kind of help pull them back. A lot of times they got really defensive and had attitudes about me trying to help them and me thinking that I was better than them. And it really didn't have anything to do with that. It was more along the lines that I loved them so much that I wanted to do everything that I could to kind of pull them back. So if you're the type of person that you're dealing with someone who is addicted to something, just know that it's very important that you surround yourself with really good people that can kind of help heal you, because the addict needs healing, but the people who love the addict also need just as much healing, because you might not be addicted to something, but your love for that person is like an addiction, because you just want to help them so much and you want to see them succeed and overcome that addiction. And sometimes that just doesn't happen as quickly as we would like, and sometimes those people never really fully recover from that, and it's extremely painful to watch. And it's really important that you care about yourself and realize that that person needs you to be the strongest person that you can be. And if you are constantly around them and they're constantly making you feel bad, because addicts do that, when it comes to you trying to pull them back, a lot of times they kind of throw swords at you, and sometimes it can pierce you and hurt a lot. I know that when it came to one of my relationships where they were extremely, they were drunk all the time, and I just kind of pointed it out. I was like, "Hey, did you realize that this is something that you're kind of doing?" And they just started throwing out all the things that I'd opened up to them about, things that I was struggling with. I wasn't talking to my dad or my grandmother or my granddad at the time, just because they were extremely negative people when it came to my life, because I had just come out of the closet. I wasn't doing really well in school, and they just kind of got really upset. And every single time they were around me, I just felt like they were attacking me as a person. So I kind of let my boyfriend know that that was something that I was struggling with. And when it came to me trying to help him quit drinking, he threw all the knives. He was using everything. He was like, "Maybe you should worry about your relationship with your dad." And it was just like, huh. I just wanted to make this video because, yes, I'm not an addict. I don't know if that is something that runs in my blood. It's not something I ever really want to try out. I know that when it comes to energy drinks and stuff like that, I can quit if I wanted to. It's just when it comes to energy drinks, it's nice to have them if I'm driving home so that I don't crash. I'm not the type of person that starts having shakes or anything if I'm not drinking caffeine. So I don't know, but hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I know that this is kind of a rough subject to talk about, so if any of you guys want to message me on Instagram, you can message me a private message there. You can also follow me on Snapchat. I have a Twitter and a Facebook as well. Hopefully you guys are having a great day, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.